Hello food lovers! Today we're traveling to Ghana to explore jollof rice, a dish that's more than food, it's a celebration. Jollof is the heart of every gathering, filling homes with warmth and joy. Its bright color and smoky aroma are simply irresistible. The secret? A rich tomato stew base, cooked to perfection. Passed down through generations, each family adds their own touch. Making jollof is an act of love and sharing. Ready to join me? Let's make Ghanaian jollof rice together. To make perfect Ghanaian jollof, you need the right ingredients, the stars of our show. Start with good quality long-grain rice like jasmine or basmati, for fluffy, separate grains. The rice soaks up all the wonderful flavors, so choose carefully. Next, the tomato base. Fresh, ripe tomatoes and tomato paste for that vibrant color and deep flavor. Onions are essential, adding sweetness and depth to both the base and the rice. For a flavor boost, use fresh ginger and garlic. These are must-haves in Ghanaian cooking. Add Scotch bonnet peppers for a fruity heat. Adjust the amount to your spice preference. These ingredients create the signature taste of jollof. For spices, use curry powder, dried thyme, and a bay leaf for warmth and earthiness. A good vegetable or chicken stock gives the rice a richer flavor than water. For an authentic touch, grate in a little nutmeg. Don't forget vegetable oil for cooking. Together, these ingredients create a symphony of flavors, the true heart of jollof. Visual ingredients displayed on a table. Visual: close-up of spices and fresh produce. Visual: pouring rice into a bowl. Visual: chopping onions, ginger, and garlic. Visual: Scotch bonnet peppers being sliced. Visual: stock being poured into a measuring cup. Visual: nutmeg being grated. Visual: all ingredients ready for cooking. Let's get cooking. First, wash your rice until the water runs clear. This keeps it fluffy, not sticky. Drain the rice and set aside. Blend fresh tomatoes, 1 onion, Scotch bonnet, ginger and garlic with a splash of water until smooth. This is your jollof stew base. Heat vegetable oil in a large pot, then sauté chopped onion until soft and fragrant. Add tomato paste and fry until it turns a deep red, removing any sourness. Pour in your blended tomato mixture, then add curry powder, thyme, bay leaf, nutmeg, and a stock cube if using. Simmer the stew on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, until thick and aromatic, with oil rising to the top. Now, add your washed rice to the pot, stirring so every grain is coated in the rich stew. Let the rice toast in the stew for 2 minutes. Pour in enough stock to just cover the rice, give it a final stir, then reduce the heat to low. Cover tightly with a lid or foil and let it steam for 20-25 minutes. No peeking. The steam is what cooks the rice perfectly. When done, let the pot rest off the heat for 10 minutes before fluffing with a fork. Here are my top secrets for perfect jollof. First, cook the tomato stew thoroughly. Let it caramelize to a deep sweet flavor. Visual: stew simmering deep red color. Simmer the blended tomato mix slowly so all the flavors marry. For fluffy rice, don't stir after adding stock. Just cover tightly and let the steam do the work. Visual: covering pot with foil and lid. Use a tight lid or foil to trap steam. This is key for perfect texture. Want that signature smoky party jollof flavor? Turn up the heat for the last 2 minutes to toast the bottom layer. Just a little for that authentic aroma. Visual: toasting the bottom layer. Always taste and adjust the stew before adding rice. This is your last chance to perfect the seasoning. Visual: tasting stew with a spoon. After cooking, let the rice rest, covered for 10 minutes, then fluff gently with a fork. Visual: fluffing rice with a fork. These steps make all the difference. Visual: close-up of separated grains. Visual: smiling cook. Visual: family enjoying the meal. Visual: quick-tip graphics on screen. Visual: narrator giving a chef's kiss gesture. Visual: final shot of perfect jollof. Visual: overlay text, trust the process. Visual: overlay text, taste and adjust. Visual: overlay text, enjoy. Visual: narrator winking at the camera. Visual: end with a shot of the finished dish. Jollof rice is a feast on its own, but sides and toppings make it a true celebration. Visual: jollof with grilled chicken. In Ghana, it's often served with grilled or fried chicken, fish, or beef stew. Choose your favorite protein. Visual: fresh salad on the side. For freshness, add a simple salad of lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumber for a cool, crisp contrast. Visual: kelaweel being served. Kelaweel, spicy fried plantains, are a classic, their sweetness perfectly balancing the savory rice. Visual: hard-boiled egg and Cheeto sauce as toppings. Top your jollof with a hard-boiled egg, a spoonful of spicy Cheeto sauce, or creamy avocado slices for extra flavor and texture. Visual: slices of avocado on the plate. For drinks, try Sobolo, hibiscus iced tea, or Lamugan, chilled ginger drink, for a refreshing, authentic touch. Visual: pouring Sobolo into a glass. These sides and drinks complete your Ghanaian feast. Visual: chilled Lamugan in a pitcher. Visual: family enjoying the meal together. Visual: close-up of a colorful complete plate. Visual: cheers with drinks. Visual: narrator smiling at the table. Visual: overlay text. Make it a celebration. Visual: end with a shot of the full spread. Let's avoid common jollof mistakes. Don't use too much water, just enough to cover the rice. Too much makes it soggy. Always steam, don't boil. If the rice is still hard but dry, add a little hot water and cover quickly. Cook on low heat. High heat burns the bottom before the top is done. Use a heavy-bottomed pot for even cooking. Before adding liquid, make sure every grain of rice is coated in the tomato stew for even flavor. Taste your stew before adding rice. Season well. Resist opening the lid while cooking. Steam is key for perfect texture. Set a timer and trust the process. Visual: pouring just enough water over rice. Visual: heavy-bottomed pot on stove. Visual: stirring rice into stew. Visual: tasting stew with a spoon. Visual: covering pot tightly. Visual: timer counting down. Visual: fluffy, perfectly cooked jollof. Visual: smiling cook giving a thumbs up. Visual: overlay text. Don't peek. Visual: overlay text. Trust the steam. Visual: end with a shot of the finished dish. Now you have all the secrets. Time to create your own pot of Ghanaian jollof rice. Don't worry if your first try isn't perfect. Every cook learns with practice. The most important ingredient is the love you put into it. Make it your own. Add mixed vegetables, adjust the spice, or try new sides. Invite friends and family, share the aroma, and create memories around your table. Jollof is more than a meal. It's about nourishing the soul and bringing people together. So, gather your ingredients, put on some music, and start your jollof adventure. Enjoy the process, and be proud of what you create. Happy cooking, everyone! Visual: narrator stirring a pot, smiling. Visual: family and friends enjoying jollof together. Visual: laughter and conversation at the table. Visual: close-up of a spoonful of jollof. Visual: narrator raising a fork in celebration. Visual: overlay text. Share the joy. Visual: final shot of the finished dish. Visual: fade out with upbeat music.